You know what's funny about darkness? It's not the absence of light that terrifies people. Oh, no. It's what lurks within it. The unknown, the uncertainty, the monster they can't see but know is there watching, waiting. But let me tell you something about monsters. Something people have forgotten. Monsters don't fear. The dark monsters are born in it. Monsters thrive in it. Monsters are not haunted by the unknown because to us, the unknown is home to us. The shadows are not a place of dread. They are a sanctuary of power, a realm where we rule, while others cower in their fragile little fears. They tell you that fear is natural. They tell you to avoid it. They tell you to turn on the lights, to search the corners of your rooms, to comfort yourself with the idea that monsters are nothing more than imagination, nothing more than stories. They warn you against the dark as if the light will somehow protect you from the terrors that await in the silence. But they're wrong. They've always been wrong. You've been trained to believe that the absence of light is what makes you vulnerable. But the real danger is your weakness, your unwillingness to embrace the dark, the place where true strength is forged. Monsters do not shrink back from the absence of light. We feed on it. We are born in it and we live in it with an ease that makes your fear look pitiful. We do not seek the light because we are already powerful in the dark. Every corner you try to illuminate is just a reminder that you do not understand your own strength. You try to shine the light into the places where your fears reside, but all you do is expose the fragile nature of your own spirit. You try to fight the shadows, but they laugh at your weakness because shadows are not something to be fought. They are a part of you. They are a part of what makes you unstoppable. They are your allies, and in the end, it is you who is the prey. You think that the dark holds monsters, but what if it is the dark that is holding you? What if it is the dark that is your true nature, waiting for you to stop fearing it and start living in it? Start harnessing the raw energy that comes from embracing the things that terrify you. Because let me tell you, monsters aren't afraid of the dark. They've already embraced it. They've already realized that the dark is not a threat, but a tool, a weapon to be used to their advantage. Fear doesn't stop the monster from being a monster. Fear only makes you weaker. Fear only makes you more susceptible to the chaos of this world. Because when you fear something, you give it power. When you let your doubts crawl into your heart, you allow them to dictate your actions. You allow them to control you. But the monster doesn't fear it. The monster has no doubts, no hesitation, no weakness. Because we've already faced the darkness. We've already seen the things that lie beyond the light, and we know that the dark is not a place of death, but a place of transformation. You sit there trembling because the dark holds secrets you aren't ready to face, but the monster knows that the dark holds no secrets from those who are brave enough to confront it. The monster knows that the dark is not the enemy. It is the crucible where the weak are burned away and the strong are forged into something far greater than they ever imagined. When you stop fearing the dark, when you stop cowering in its presence, that's when you become truly unstoppable. Every time you shrink back from the darkness, you shrink back from your own potential. Every time you hesitate, you are telling yourself that you are not strong enough to face what lies in the shadows. But that's where you're wrong. That's where the monster thrives. The monster knows that the dark is where the true test begins. It's where the real battle happens. It's where you either conquer yourself or let yourself be consumed. There's no need to turn on the lights. There's no need to search for safety. There's no need to run, because the monster knows that when you face the darkness head on, you realize that it's not the dark that's dangerous. It's the fear you carry with you. It's the doubt that clouds your mind. It's the belief that you are somehow inferior to the unknown. The truth is you are the monster in the dark, and it is time for you to start acting like it. You were never meant to live in the light. You were never meant to stay in the comfort of your own small world. You were meant to grow. You were meant to evolve. You were meant to embrace the things that others fear, because in those very fears lies the key to unlocking your true power. There's no safety in the light. There's no comfort in running from the darkness. There's only growth and power in walking into it with your head held high. The world will always try to make you fear the unknown. It will always try to convince you that there's something lurking in the shadows, waiting to tear you apart. But the truth is, it's not the dark that will destroy you. It's the fear of the dark. It's the belief that you cannot survive it. It's the belief that you are not strong enough to face it. But that's the lie they've told you. The truth is that monsters are not afraid of the dark, because monsters are not afraid of themselves. Monsters understand something that you don't. Monsters understand that the dark is not something to be feared. It's something to be conquered. It's something to be mastered. It's something to use as a weapon, to strike fear into the hearts of others. Monsters understand that the dark is where power lies, because in the dark you can hide in the dark. You can plan in the dark. You can become the very thing that others fear. It's time to stop running from the shadows. It's time to stop pretending that the light will keep you safe, because the light will only ever expose your weaknesses. It will only ever show you how fragile you are. It's in the dark that you can finally see your true potential. It's in the dark that you can embrace your inner monster and unleash the power that's been waiting to be set free. They've forgotten that monsters don't fear the dark. They've forgotten that the dark is where the real battle takes place. They've forgotten that it's not the absence of light that should terrify them. It's the presence of the monster within themselves that should haunt them, because the moment they stop fearing the dark is the moment they become the thing. They fear the moment they realize that they too are monsters who belong in the dark, and that's when they will truly be unstoppable. So remember this, next time you feel the darkness closing in, remember that it's not the dark that's the threat. It's the fear of the dark. It's the doubt in your own strength. It's the hesitation that keeps you from embracing the monster within you. Stop being afraid of what's lurking in the shadows, because what's lurking in the shadows is you. And when you finally realize that when you stop running from it, when you finally step into the dark and take control, that's when you will become truly unstoppable. I understand that some of you may still find it hard to fully grasp this. You might think that the dark is something to be avoided or feared, but that's only because you've been conditioned to believe that light equals safety. You've been told that the dark is a place of danger, that it holds things that can harm you. But what if I told you that this is all a lie? What if I told you that the dark is not your enemy, but your ally? That the things you fear in the shadows are not lurking to destroy you, but to shape you, to build you into something stronger than you ever thought possible? What if the very thing you've been taught to fear is the key to your true power? There is a fear that dwells in every human heart, a primal fear, a fear of the unknown, of what lies hidden in the places we cannot see. And it's this fear that keeps you from embracing your true potential. You've been taught to fear the darkness, to cower when the lights go out. But ask yourself this, who is the real monster in the dark? Is it the shadow that hides in the corner, or is it the trembling soul that refuses to step forward, who refuses to confront the darkness and the unknown within themselves? It is not the dark that makes you weak, but your unwillingness to confront it. The darkness does not care for your fears, your doubts, your insecurities. The darkness is indifferent, impartial to your struggles, but it is also the place where true strength is forged. Those who are unafraid of the dark understand its power. They understand that the unknown is not something to be feared, but something to be explored, something to be conquered. For in the unknown, in the dark places where others tremble, lies the possibility of transformation. You see, the world has taught you to fear the dark because it doesn't want you to realize that you have the power to control it. The world wants to keep you weak, keep you dependent on the light, keep you tethered to the illusion of safety. But when you embrace the dark, when you stop running from it and start walking through it with purpose, you begin to understand that the dark is not a threat. It is an opportunity. The dark does not diminish your strength, it amplifies it. In the darkness, you can shed the layers of fear, self-doubt, and insecurity that have been built up over the years. In the dark, you can find your true self, the person you were always meant to be. This is what they don't want you to understand. This is what they want to keep hidden from you. The truth that the monsters are not only in the dark, they are the dark. They are the parts of yourself that you have buried, the parts of yourself that you are too afraid to face. And so, you hide from the dark, you avoid it, because you are terrified of what you might find within yourself. But the truth is that the more you avoid the darkness, the stronger it becomes, until it consumes you from within. The fear becomes more overwhelming, more suffocating, until you are trapped in your own mind, a prisoner of your own insecurities. But monsters don't live like that. Monsters don't shrink back from their fears. They embrace them. Monsters don't run from the dark. They make the dark their domain. They thrive in the places where others falter. And that is why monsters are powerful. Monsters know that the dark is not something to be afraid of, but something to command. When you stop fearing the dark, when you step into it without hesitation, you begin to realize that it is not the dark that is dangerous. It is the light. The light is where your weaknesses are exposed, where your fears are laid bare. The light is where the world can see your flaws, your vulnerabilities, and it is in the light that the world can break you down. But the dark is where you find your true power. The dark is where you can hide your weaknesses, where you can become untouchable. In the dark, no one can see your flaws. No one can see your doubts. In the dark, you are free to become whatever you want to be, to unleash the full potential that lies dormant within you. You are not bound by the constraints of society's expectations or the opinions of others. In the dark, you are limitless. You are free. So why are you afraid of the dark? Why do you cower in fear at the thought of stepping into it? Why do you cling to the light like a child afraid of the monsters lurking beneath the bed? The truth is that you're not afraid of the dark itself. You are afraid of what the dark will reveal about you. You are afraid of confronting the monster within yourself. You are afraid of the strength you could unleash if you stopped hiding, if you stopped pretending to be weak, if you stopped fearing your own potential. But that is the lie they've fed you, that you are weak, that you are vulnerable, that you are incapable of handling what the dark holds. The truth is that the monster within you is not something to be feared. It is something to be embraced. It is the part of you that is relentless, that is unstoppable, that is powerful beyond measure. And when you step into the dark, when you face the things that terrify you the most, you awaken that monster. You realize that you are not some fragile little creature hiding from the world. You are a force to be reckoned with. You are a monster in the dark, and the dark is where you belong. The world will try to convince you that there is safety in the light, that there is comfort in the known, but that is a lie. The light only exposes your weakness. The light only reminds you of everything you are not. The light only serves to keep you small, to keep you shackled to your fears. But in the dark, in the shadows, you can become more than you ever imagined. In the dark, you can let go of the false identities, the limitations, and the doubts that have been placed on you by others. In the dark, you can become who you were always meant to be. So stop running from the darkness. Stop fearing it. Because the truth is that monsters do not fear the dark. Monsters are born in the dark. And when you finally stop hiding from it, when you stop shrinking back in fear, you will see that you too are a monster. You will see that you are unstoppable. You will see that the dark is not your enemy, but your greatest ally. It is in the dark that you will find your true power, and it is in the dark that you will conquer the world. Remember this, monsters don't fear the dark. They are the dark, and so are you. The only question is, when will you stop pretending to be afraid? When will you stop hiding in the light and step into the shadows where you truly belong? The world is waiting for you to awaken. The world is waiting for you to embrace your inner monster. The world is waiting for you to show them what happens when someone who is no longer afraid of the dark steps into it and claims their place as its ruler. So, go ahead, step into the dark, embrace your fear, embrace your power. Because when you do, you will finally realize that it is not the dark that makes you dangerous. It is the monster inside you that does. And when you let that monster out, nothing can stop you. Nothing. The truth is that every time you take a step back from the dark, you distance yourself from your true potential. Every time you hesitate and let the light pull you back, you're relinquishing control over your own destiny. It's the light that deceives you, that distorts reality, that makes you believe the shadows hold only danger, when in fact, they hold your greatest transformation. It's in the dark that monsters are born, and it's in the dark that they rise. Ask yourself, why do you fear the dark? Is it because you're afraid of what you cannot see? But can you see all that is in the light? Can you see every hidden part of yourself, the parts that you've locked away and ignored? No, you can't. The light only shows you what you want to see, what is safe, what is comfortable. The darkness, however, reveals the things you need to confront, the things you need to become, the things you need to face in order to break free from the chains that hold you back. Monsters don't live in the light. They don't cower when the world around them glimmers with safety. They exist in the shadows, in the quiet corners, in the untapped potential. They thrive in places where most people would rather not venture, and it's there, in the depths of darkness, where they cultivate their strength. Darkness is a realm of infinite possibilities, a place where transformation can occur, a place where you can lose yourself in order to find your true self. The dark is not a cage, it is a crucible where your fears are burned away, where your weaknesses are transformed into untold power. The very things that scare you about the dark are the things that will ultimately free you from the prisons you've built for yourself. You've been taught to fear the unknown, the unseen, the things that lie just beyond the reach of your understanding. But let me tell you this, what lies in the dark is not some monster ready to devour you. What lies in the dark is everything you've been hiding from. It is the version of yourself that you've refused to confront, the version of yourself that is more powerful than you ever dared to imagine. Every time you shy away from the darkness, you deny that version of yourself the chance to grow. You trap yourself in the light where nothing is real, nothing is raw, nothing is transformative. But in the dark, everything is real. The dark forces you to face the rawness of your soul, to confront the parts of yourself that you've been too afraid to acknowledge. And in doing so, you grow stronger. The world will always try to convince you that the darkness is your enemy. They will tell you that monsters live there, that they lurk in every shadow waiting to consume you. But monsters don't fear the dark. Monsters are the dark. They are born from it, and they understand it. They don't shy away from what others see as dangerous. They embrace it. And because of this, monsters are not bound by the constraints of the world. They are not held back by fear or doubt. They are free, untouchable, unstoppable. They walk through the world as if it owes them something, because they know their worth. And it's time for you to know your worth too. You've been taught that light brings clarity, that light brings safety. But have you ever wondered if that clarity is just a false illusion? When you stand in the light, everything is exposed. Your flaws, your weaknesses, your imperfections, they are all visible for the world to see. And in that exposure, you become vulnerable. The light does not protect you. The light does not give you power. The light only gives you an illusion of control, an illusion of safety. But the moment you step into the darkness, all of that changes. The dark does not expose you. It hides you. It gives you the space to move unseen, to grow unnoticed, to build power without anyone else. Do you understand what this means? The dark is not something to fear. The dark is a gift. It is a place where you can truly be yourself, where you can stop pretending to be someone you're not. The world will try to tell you that the dark is dangerous, that the shadows are filled with all manner of terrifying things. But in reality, those things are only terrifying because you are not ready to face them. You're not ready to confront the monsters within yourself. You're not ready to acknowledge the power you have, the potential you've been hiding. But the moment you stop fearing the dark, you stop hiding from yourself. Monsters don't fear the dark because they know what lies within it. They know that the dark is not a void, but a wellspring of power. They know that the dark is where true strength is forged. And when you stop fearing the dark, you will begin to understand that the dark is not something to run from, but something to embrace. It is a place of rebirth, a place where your weaknesses can be transformed into strength, where your fears can be turned into fuel for your growth. It is a place where you can shed your old skin and emerge stronger, more powerful, more unstoppable than ever before. But you have to stop running from the dark. You have to stop hiding in the light. The light is not your savior. The light is what keeps you small. The light is what keeps you afraid. The light is what keeps you stuck in the same place, never growing, never changing, never evolving. The dark is where everything happens. The dark is where you become the person you were always meant to be. It is where your true power lies. And when you stop fearing it, when you stop running from it, you will see just how much strength you have inside of you. You have always had the potential to be a monster. You've always had the power to rise above the fears and doubts that have held you back. But it is the darkness that will awaken that potential. It is the darkness that will bring out the monster in you. And once that monster is awakened, nothing can stop you. Nothing. The world will try to hold you down, but the monster inside you will break free. The world will try to tell you that you are weak, but the monster inside you will prove them wrong. The world will try to make you fear the dark, but the monster inside you will show you that the dark is where you belong. So stop running from it. Stop fearing it. Because the moment you stop fearing the dark is the moment you begin to understand your true power. The dark is not your enemy. The dark is your ally. It is the place where monsters are born, and it is the place where you will become unstoppable. You are the monster. You are the dark. And when you finally realize that, when you finally step into the shadows without hesitation, without fear, you will see that there is nothing that can stand in your way. The darkness is not the end. It is the beginning of everything you could ever be. You are the monster they fear, and it is time for you to embrace that power. The world doesn't stand a chance against you, because you are the darkness, and monsters don't fear the dark. In the end, remember this: monsters don't fear the dark because they are born from it. They thrive in it, and they wield its power. The darkness is not something to run from. It is the very thing that will shape you into the unstoppable force you are destined to become. Stop fearing what lies in the shadows, for it is there that your true strength resides. Embrace the dark, embrace the monster within you, and watch as the world bends before your power. The darkness is not your enemy, it is your greatest ally. And when you finally realize this, nothing will be able to stop you.